Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. Iraq is undergoing a significant transformation in its financial and economic infrastructure, marking a profound shift from traditional, paper-based systems to modern, technology-driven frameworks that align with international standards. At the center of this transformation is the advancement of digital finance, which is increasingly being recognized not just within Iraq but also on the global stage. A powerful statement from Mirza Mohammed Saleh, the financial advisor to the Prime Minister, highlights the momentum of this change. He announced that Iraq now ranks third in the Arab world in terms of the number of bank cards issued. This is not a trivial accomplishment. It reflects a broader pattern of economic modernization and increasing integration with global financial systems, particularly as Iraq prepares to launch a fully electronic tax collection system by the middle of this year. This move toward digital tax systems is not an isolated administrative update. It represents a deep structural reform in the financial governance of the country. For decades, Iraq's economy operated largely through informal mechanisms and cash-based transactions, many of which were difficult to trace, inefficient, and vulnerable to corruption. The shift to electronic tax collection is set to change that dramatically. By digitizing tax revenues, Iraq is not only streamlining government revenue intake, but it is also introducing a level of transparency and traceability that has long been absent in the public sector. Mirza Saleh's comments emphasize that this development will play a crucial role in building trust with international financial institutions and global investment banks. For these entities, transparency is not merely a bureaucratic preference, it is a precondition for engagement. In environments where governance is opaque and financial data unreliable, international investors are reluctant to enter or expand operations. Iraq's transition to digital tax collection systems sends a strong signal. The country is becoming a more predictable, professionally managed economy with institutions that are increasingly aligned with global best practices. The confidence of international banks and financial institutions is critical for Iraq, not only because it unlocks access to global capital markets, but also because it provides the credibility needed to foster foreign direct investment. When global investors consider opportunities in emerging markets, one of the key questions they ask is whether the local government can reliably collect and manage its revenues. A country that cannot monitor its income streams effectively is often seen as unstable or too risky for major long-term investments. By implementing electronic tax collection, Iraq is demonstrating that it is serious about economic reform and about cleaning up the systemic inefficiencies and leakages that have plagued its financial system for years. Moreover, the proliferation of bank cards and other digital financial instruments across Iraq is not just a symbol of consumer convenience. It is an indicator of a growing culture of financial inclusion. Until recently, large segments of the Iraqi population remained outside the formal banking system, relying instead on cash transactions and informal networks for saving, lending, and business operations. The growing number of bank cards means that more Iraqis are entering the formal financial sector. This has profound implications for economic development. A well-banked population can access credit more easily, engage in e-commerce, manage finances securely, and contribute to a more resilient national economy. It also allows the government to better understand economic activity at all levels, from household consumption to business investment. Furthermore, this transition is expected to contribute to improved social equity. In a country where inequality and economic exclusion have been persistent challenges, digital tax systems ensure that the wealthy and powerful are not exempt from their fiscal responsibilities. Equally, they provide a foundation for targeted welfare programs that can use verified income data to deliver assistance to those most in need. As Iraq prepares to implement these sweeping reforms by mid-year, the international community will be watching closely. The successful deployment of a digital tax system could serve as a model for other countries in the region facing similar challenges. Iraq has the opportunity not only to rebuild its economy, but to do so in a way that is smarter, fairer, and more sustainable than the systems it replaces. This isn't merely a story of new technology. It's a story about the redefinition of state-society relations. When citizens trust that the government collects taxes fairly and uses them wisely, they are more likely to comply, more likely to invest, and more likely to feel a sense of national purpose. Conversely, when tax systems are opaque, exploitative, or ineffective, the result is often evasion, resentment, and economic stagnation. Iraq's pivot toward transparency, digitization, and professionalism is a meaningful gesture to its people that their government is finally listening, adapting, and modernizing. Additionally, the broader global economic environment is now more receptive to countries that pursue such reforms. As investors seek opportunities outside of saturated Western markets, they are increasingly looking to frontier economies like Iraq. But their willingness to commit funds depends on confidence in governance, regulatory frameworks, and the overall reliability of institutions. With moves like digital tax collection and rising bank card usage, Iraq is gradually positioning itself as a more viable destination for investment capital. It is showing that it understands the language of global finance, transparency, accountability, efficiency, and is ready to speak it fluently. Mirza Saleh's remarks, then, should be seen in a much wider context. They are not merely a comment on Iraq's place in Arab financial rankings. They are a signal of Iraq's readiness to re-enter the global economy on new terms. The road ahead will not be without challenges. Implementing and maintaining digital systems requires continued investment in infrastructure, cybersecurity, training, and public education. It demands cooperation across ministries, consistency in policy implementation, and a commitment to rule-based governance. But with the right support from international partners and the right political will domestically, Iraq can succeed. What is being undertaken is not just a technical upgrade. It is an economic renaissance, rooted in a new vision of governance, driven by digital infrastructure, and aimed at restoring Iraq's place as a dynamic and respected player in the regional and global economy. Every bank card issued, every digital transaction recorded, and every tax payment made through the new system is a step toward a future where Iraq is not only stable but thriving. Through such milestones, Iraq is not just modernizing, it is reclaiming its potential. Thanks for tuning in to Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.